So this is a very impromptu stream slash video. I had this idea earlier today, and let me just grab a link. Oh, oops. I had this video a little bit earlier today, or this idea, just to go through kind of the Azalea decks that I've played and like how the deck has looked across the last, or I guess all of the sets since I've started playing Azalea back in Monarch. So let me drop this here. Yeah, so earlier today I went ahead and popped together a bunch of deck lists. There's like, yeah, I've got a deck list for Outsiders, obviously what I'm testing currently. Dynasty, Uprising, Everfest, Tails, and Monarch. And yeah, I'm just gonna jam some games on or I guess we'll discuss. I'm gonna start with the current list, which I don't think is anything too special, so I'm probably not actually gonna play games with it. But let me bring up this. Let's see how this looks. Alright, if I pop this in here. Cool. So the Dynasty list is going to be the list that I played at Indianapolis Calling 2023, where I had my top 32. And then the Outsiders list is the current list that I'm testing that I'll probably be on for Road to National season. Specifically a variant without the New Horizon Dreadbore, just because it looks cleaner for like the transition across time. So new changes with Outsiders, obviously. We've got the Crow's Nest, playing it down and dirty. We've cut Fate Foreseen and Fatigue Shots. I'm currently testing Frailty Trap. Hamstring Shots and head Shots are gone. We got all these new cards, Premeditate, Melting Point, laced with all of the laces. These have stayed about the same. A lot of the buffs and arrows. And again, a lot more defensive things have come out. Sleep Dart, Take Aim are no longer in the list. Codex is new, and we've got Spire Sniping. So let me grab this. I'm just gonna hop in and do a couple games with Dynasty. I'm gonna do it in standard, not competitive, seeing as I'm playing a deck that isn't regular anymore. Oh, and I guess I have all of the matchup stuff. So yeah, I think Dynasty was I think the deck's been real close for quite some time, and it's disappointing that we never quite got there. I'm anticipating Living Legend points later this weekend. I would be quite surprised if we didn't get it, but in previous iterations, we're just going to be on some more defensive cards because we didn't have quite as much gas, so we needed to play more of a mid-range plan. And that's kind of going to be the biggest thing. Starting in Everfest, we had access to some cards that let us play more aggressively. This is an interesting list. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, starting in Everfest is when we started getting really powerful tools for going wide and tall and more valuable on hits. But we'll go back one set at a time. Yeah, I think Azalea was very close. I know I always say it. It was so close in Dynasty. We had access. Andrew, we will be getting into some very old stuff that is probably not or it's not relevant for today, but I'm just going to be going over old deck lists. Sure, you can have some cards. So I'm just going to be working my way backwards, going all the way back to where I started, back in Monarch. I'm actually kind of excited to play some Monarch Azalea. Because the list has changed a ton. When I was putting together the deck lists, I realized that the only cards in the main board that have stayed across all of the iterations are Red in the Ledger, Remorseless, Knock the Death Whistle, Enlightened Strike, and Ravenous Rebel. And I know different people have cut those at different points. No, this is more of just being an interesting, just something interesting to look at, as opposed to practicing. I've gotten a ton of practice in recently. This isn't supposed to be as educational on learning Azalea for today, but kind of just see where the deck has come from. I think there's been a misconception for a long time that Azalea has been unplayable up until Outsiders. And so I kind of wanted to have like a side-by-side of where the actual power change has happened. Because I think the biggest bumps have been Outsiders and Everfest. Alright. See, I'm thinking of what's it called? I was thinking about how do I get an aim counter here, and realized that I don't have a crow's nest because this is Dynasty. But yeah, Dynasty is where we got Deadeye, which was just a valuable 3-block. As we go further back, we'll see some other very interesting decisions we had for our yellow cards. Things like yellow Come to Fight, yellow Hamstring Shots. Just because we didn't have good yellows back then. I know in a very early version, right when I started, I was playing like yellow Captain's Call. Because that's all we had access to. So just Deadeye was a big one in Dynasty, and then the other really big one in Dynasty was Drill Shot. That was the first time that we've actually had access to attacking armor. Because yeah, back in all those other metas, your opponent just sat on their armor all game, and there really wasn't much you could do about it. And when you needed your Red in the Ledger to hit, it wouldn't, because they still had armor. So now that we've had Drill Shot, it is really powerful for targeting specifically aggressive decks armor. So this line, I could try and go wide with Tunic, Load, Bolt and Shot, and then look to like Bullseye Bracers. However, because I don't have a Rain Razors, I think I'm going to try and hold on to these a little bit longer, and we'll see if we can find something here. Because it is a Phi, I probably could have banked on my Bolt and Shot hitting and just played for the greedy line. That would have been 3 extra damage. I think because I have the 1 float, I am going to just blind Azalea here and get rewarded. Yeah, I think they did. Even though we aren't seeing Azalea win everything, I think Azalea is indirectly warping the meta right now. Because there's a bunch of like aggressive decks that you can't really play right now. Whenever people talk about, oh, how are we beating Dromai? How are we beating Dromai and Oldhim? And the answer is play like Briar, play like Phi. The problem is those decks are pushed out of the meta by Lexi and Azalea right now. So even though Azalea isn't like at the top, her place in the meta is what is keeping Dromai and Oldham at the top. So I do think, like, if you were to sit down in or if you had a meta where all of the decks were evenly represented, like, I don't know, you had 180 people and there's 10 people on each deck or whatever, I think Azalea performs very, very well because it has a very strong matchup spread. But the problem is that because of that, all the what's the word? Because of that, all of the decks that lose to Azalea got pushed out, and all the decks that beat Azalea moved to the top. And obviously, Lexi is a bit stronger than Azalea right now, and a lot of the matchup spread is pretty similar. But I think my assessment stands that I think Azalea was a bit overcorrected. Maybe not quite as much as I thought originally, but I do think it was overcorrected. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit of a long-winded answer. Yeah, I think I'm only gonna have the one game on Dynasty. Dynasty was a meta where there was a reasonable amount of, what's it called? A reasonable amount of content that I made on the Dynasty version. So I don't think it's too new for a lot of people. This is interesting on this Take the Tempo. I think I do need to block this. Actually, no, because the Take the Tempo card, I can just dominate a Red in the Ledger that they won't be able to play. Or then they won't be able to play the Engulfing or the rest of their hand. Now I've got a couple of ways of doing this. I could take aim, cross wrap, see if I find a Red in the Ledger naturally. Granted, I only have one left in the deck, so it's probably not likely. I could also Tunic. I think Tunic ends up being better. Tunic Death Dealer, and the reason is I'm going to use my Tunic either way, but this line I have the chance of drawing something like a Seek and Destroy, which would obviously be much better on this Red in the Ledger. I do actually think that this sequence I did here was slightly wrong. I think I was supposed to play the Read the Glide Path instead of the Take Aim. The reason being is I'd be able to see the top card of the deck and know if I'm going to be drawing an arrow in that first slot in my next hand. And that would reduce my chances of bricking this next turn cycle by quite a bit. The chances are already pretty low, but being able to dig one card further to make sure I have an arrow for next turn could be pretty important. And again, I don't mind this damage here too much. Oh, I'm getting slightly nostalgic for the Take Aim Bolton shots. I wish I could do that still. I think there is a discussion for Take Aim making its way back into a list again at some point. The issue is just that deck space is so tight right now. We're running way more buffs than we ever used to before, and there's still buffs that we just don't have space for. So I'm going to leave the drill shot on top. If he lets it hit, which it looks like he is, we're going to reload here, and do I care about dominating this? So we've got two options. One is to glide and just fire this, no, I'll draw a drill shot next turn. The alternative, which I think I'm partial to, so we're going to Azalea in the drill shot, and then we're going to be looking for an arrow on top, which we found, just to make sure that I have an arrow for next turn. And again, I'm going to be playing all of these older versions in the casual queue on Talishar, because I feel like the people in competitive wouldn't appreciate playing against a deck that is just strictly outdated. Doesn't matter too much what we hear. Is that all you got? Should be nice. Yeah, this hand is quite good, especially with him at 1. But yeah, overall, Dynasty wasn't a massive change from the previous set. I suppose Outsiders was the big change. Yeah, it really does. Just the play patterns, I guess, have changed, and I didn't realize how much they'd changed. Hey, Pitch Deck, how's it going? I imagine he's gonna snaps this. Yep. Nice. How? Oh yeah, I think I saw you were streaming Kano the other day. How's that been? But yeah, one of the interesting things, I guess. No, actually, that change happened in my Uprising stuff, so I guess we'll wait on that change. But the biggest change between Dynasty and Outsiders has really been the lack of defensive cards. Cards like Sink Below, Sigil of Solace, what's the other one? Take Cover, Fate Foreseen. Those cards had been staples in my Azalea lists for basically since Monarch. And they finally weren't good enough anymore, which is just really weird. And I've talked about it quite a bit, about the current Outsiders Azalea, and the reason those defensive cards have come out are cards like Premeditate and Codex of Frailty, which in order to get the most out of them, you really need to be able to empty out your entire hand. So before, we always wanted to hold one card back, so holding a defensive card was great, but now we have to be able to empty our entire hand, which means that we don't get to run defensive cards anymore, or at least a lot less. Most of these older versions are running 12 to 15 defensive cards, and now it's a maybe 3 of in the sideboard post-Outsiders, and almost all of those cards got replaced with buffs. Oh man, this guy's got some spicy cards in there. notably this Dynasty list that I'm playing, I guess I'll answer that question in a second. Fate over Tar Pit? No, I don't think so. I think Tar Pit would go over Fate. I think I like Sink Below a little bit more, though. If I had to pick a defensive card to play right now, it would be either Sink Below or Frailty Trap. But again, those are meta-dependent things. I also have adjusted some of these deck lists to be a little less tuned towards the meta that they were played in, and more tuned to be just a general, this was a good version of the deck at the time, or something. Okay, so he flicked on that, which means that he gets a mask draw if this hits. So unfortunately, I do actually have to give him cards. Yeah, so something like in my Everfest list, I went ahead and removed yellow fatigue shots for yellow Bolton shots. At the time, Starvo was everywhere, so I didn't get to go wide. You kind of just had to do what you could. And so fatigue shot was very effective into Starvo. So at that time I was playing a little more defensive than the card pool dictated, but that's just how I needed to play in that meta, I think. Or maybe I was just incorrect and I should have been playing yellow Bolton shots at the time. But either way, in the list that I'll be playing today for that meta, we'll have the Bolton shots. Let's see. I'm gonna be honest, I think so currently, let's see if I can, it's probably been posted in the Azalea chat, but I have a list that has like frailty traps in it, and that's really good for the Lexis. The deck does quite well into Dash and Phi already, and I think the deck is fine into Dromai. I'm just gonna bring this over the top, and I assume that he'll die off of that. As far as popper count, I'm not convinced that I really want too many more than what's the number? 4 to 5. I think when I was testing 5, it felt like a little too much. I think 4 has felt like a good number. So let me pull this up really quick. I'm gonna pull up these 3 lists. I was originally gonna cover each set, but I don't actually know that I need to play a game with the Uprising version. And the reason is we didn't get many Uprising cards, or many cards in Uprising for Azalea. So we'll notice from Everfest to Uprising, the changes are that I cut 2 poppers, which at the time might have been a mistake. This list is almost identical to what I played at Battlehardened Columbus. And I ended up losing in top 4 to a Dromai because I brought no poppers. So maybe that was a mistake. So between Everfest and Uprising, it was really just I cut the Command and Conquers. I realized Headshot that was good, so that got added in. And then like I trimmed a Memorial Ground. We cut yellow Sleep Darts. I put in blue Bolton shots. So these, it really, outside of that all you got, which for the sake of consistency across these lists, Uprising and Everfest were very, very similar. So I'm just going to go straight back to Everfest, because this is probably the turning point for Azalea. where she went from a very bad deck to a deck that has legs. It was not incredible, but the deck had legs. The issue was, the issue with it was that all of these good cards we got in Azalea appeared right at the same time as Starvo. So we got a big power spike, and I thought that the deck was going to be really good. But Starvo was a thing. So, gotta figure out what I'm sideboarding here. I will play these CNCs, I think. Man, I don't even remember how to... Oh, I think I can take out yellow sleep darts. But big inclusions you'll see as a 6 of are the Read the Glide Paths. Rain Razors came out, Release Attention had just been released. Fatigue Shot, like so many really strong cards just came out. I'm just gonna play 65 because I'm taking too long to sideboard, and we're gonna play Perch Grapplers. Oh, he's playing this deck. This is actually fine. This sideboard, it might be good enough for this matchup. He just doesn't have any armor, so any red in the ledger is good enough. Yeah, sorry, I missed what Pitch Stack had answered. Yeah, 4 poppers is a good percentage. I felt that when you were going to 5%, or 5 poppers, your percentage of drawing 2 poppers got really bad, or got a little too likely. The assumption is that he won't be attacking here. Yeah. I probably should have pitched away other cards. Because now, actually, sorry. Yeah, I need to get that, the Sink Below out of my hand. Notably, I was also playing Ridge Rider Shot still. So, yeah, Ridge Rider was an interesting inclusion. It was like our staple blue for a very long time. It was just the best blue arrow, and oh, this is real rude, and I'm happy about it. Ridge Rider Shot was like our default blue for a very long time, and then it was during the was it Uprising? No, yeah, Uprising. During Uprising is when I switched over to headshots, and part of that was a meta decision because just the raw damage was important, but I found myself getting down to the bottom of the deck and not having blue arrows that dealt damage. So when you get down to the bottom of the deck, you need your blues to do some form of damage. And so I felt that headshot ended up being more impactful there. My turn is gone. I think I want to take 1 extra damage and just block like this, so that I have the opportunity to hold a blue here. I skipped over Uprising, so this is Everfest. So this is right when we were figuring out what, kind of what the new tools did. Because I think Everfest was probably the biggest change. Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. Also, this is gonna hurt. Everfest was... Actually, Outsiders might have been a slightly bigger change, but I genuinely think that the difference between Everfest, or I guess, what is that, Tales of Arya and Everfest was like as big of a power spike as current to Outsiders. Okay, that's 3 Shock Charmers instances, so we lose that. That. It was a really big change. And so this was what we were playing like right when Everfest came out. But like I mentioned, sweet, we found a red in the ledger. Like I mentioned, we were playing it into Starvo, so even though we had a big power spike, playing it into Starvo was still playing into Starvo. Hey, Postponed, how's it going? But yeah, and then, like I mentioned, Uprising didn't really change the deck a ton. It was really outside, or it was... Dynasty was probably a bigger change than Uprising. Yeah. We'll get to it shortly, but Tales of Arya was kind of a weird one, where we got a decent amount of new cards, but they didn't quite fit. Like, a lot... We actually didn't get a ton of new cards now, in reality. I think we're blocking here. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, Deadeye... That was the crazy thing, is so... In Dynasty, the assessment about Deadeye was, wow, this card is really good, with one small issue. We don't have a good way of getting aim counters. But even just being a yellow 3-block buff was really, really good. So it was... I think Deadeye on release, even with no way of getting aim counters in the deck, was an automatic 3 of in every Azalea list. Just because how powerful 3-block buffs are. Especially one that pitches yellow. I mean, we knew how we got aim counters. It was Sandscour. The issue was there weren't enough aim counter cards to justify it. Like, there just wasn't enough good aim counter stuff. So, yeah, if there's not enough good aim counter stuff, you're not going to play the worst bow. However, Jacob has now shown that there may actually be there is actually enough good aim counter cards now. So you can justify Sandscour because we got all this good aim counter stuff. Classic 3D react hands. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a little bit weird. I think I'm giving up my tunic here. Oh, I missed take cover. And take aim. Yeah, I have no quiver right now. I'm currently playing a list very similar to what I was playing at the start of Everfest. Unfortunately, we are digging for an arrow. Uh-oh. How'd we do? Pretty good. But yeah, this was the stage of the Azalea. Like I keep saying, is I feel like this deck was so close during this ProQuest season with Starvo and everything. I was able to still do reasonably well. I had a top 8 and a top 4 during Starvo meta. Ugh. It's so bad. Yeah, I had both of those during Starvo meta. Playing Azalea. And then and that was just what's the word? It just kind of shows how much Everfest did for Azalea. I think it just got overshadowed by Starvo and Prism being the 2 most popular decks. And I think she was in a good spot all through Uprising as well, which again was a very similar list between the 2 metas. I mean, it was surprisingly fine. In my specific lists that I played into Starvo, this list I'm playing here is slightly different. That was part of the issue. Is there was the number of competitive players playing Azalea was rather low, and by rather low I mean I think it might have been just like 0, or I guess me 1. Rip my hand. They're just competitive players realized that there were better choices. But even granted this was Dynasty, but even going into the Indianapolis calling, Tarek was talking about Azalea being like very middle of the pack. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there were strong players playing the deck, like, and there were people putting up reasonable like top 8s at their RTNs. Like, it wasn't like no one was playing it. It's just like the very kind of cream of the crop players. You know, you're like Michael Hamiltons and I don't know, Michael Fangs and Brody Spurlocks. They weren't playing the deck because there were better decks to play. But I think the deck had the power level that those players could have won events playing Azalea. Okay, I'm losing 2 cards here. He's not keeping his channel. Or I'm losing 2 resources. So I do need to turn the tempo here. So this is a no block. Or no, I only have to pay 1 resource. That's fine. It's still here. Alright. I think I'm finally able to play the game. So this should close it out. I do think I need to take all of his cards here. There's an argument to hold on to the take aim, because now I risk drawing a no arrow hand. But yeah, there's a lot of 2 blocks in his deck. Yeah, as weird as it sounds, like that felt very similar to even like the Dynasty Azalea lists. A lot of very similar stuff. So we're gonna jump back even further to Tales of Arya. Let me grab this. And so I think, like I mentioned, this I think was probably one of the biggest power spikes. To be fair, that was Death Dealer Ice Lexi, which is not a top tier deck. It is a fun deck, but it's not the best. So Everfest got us Fatigue Shot. Actually, for clarification, I have Premeditate in this list, and the reason is we were playing Plunder Run at the time. But Plunder Run is banned, so I can't play it in the regular queue on Talishar. So I'm going to be playing Premeditate in its spot. I should probably add like text on screen. What is this text? Got a text file somewhere. One sec, let me figure out how to fix that. Should, yeah. Let's see if that'll fix it. Yeah, we'll toss that right there. So yeah, I'm gonna have Premeditate in instead, just for being able to play it. So in Everfest we got Fatigue Shot, we got Read the Glide Path, Release the Tension, and Rain Razors. We also got Battering Bolt, which I wasn't playing at the time. Or I did at... Sometimes I played it, sometimes I didn't. But in this specific thing, I'm not going to have it in the list. But we've got things like Yellow Hamstring Shot is getting replaced by Yellow... Yellow Hamstring Shot is getting replaced by, what was it? Yellow... I guess we switched to more buffs. I was playing Yellow Come to Fight. This is probably the card that I bring up the most when talking about, like, Azalea history. Because for so long, all the way up until Everfest, I was playing Come to Fight Yellow. And the reason is because a yellow 3-block buff was so powerful in Azalea's like card pool as something, filling all of those roles. It was so good that it made the cut at this time. So when they printed Deadeye, it's when they printed Deadeye is when we went, wait, this is just a strict upgrade to a card we played for a long time, and that's why Deadeye went straight into my list. It was like, I missed playing Come to Fight because I needed that block. Yeah, exactly. Like, it fulfills a lot of the same roles. It's just Deadeye's a strict upgrade. And then when we got Quiver as access to aim counters, all of a sudden Deadeye just got upgraded again. So this slot of the 3-block yellow buff kind of had 2 upgrades. It upgraded Come to Fight to Deadeye, and then Deadeye to Deadeye, but we had a quiver of making it better. So it's always been there as a pitch card, a buff, and a yellow. Or sorry, a pitch card, a buff, and a 3-block, which is very hard to find. And it's just been power crept each time. But yeah, at the time, yellow Come to Fight. I was playing yellow Ravenous Rebels. We struggled to go wide at the time. So having stuff like Ravenous Rebel was pretty important. The other thing was, back in the Tales of Arya meta, we didn't have Read the Glide Path. So our access to top of the deck was significantly less. Not having Read the Glide Path meant that I liked playing 6 Rabbles just as a way of seeing those dominates. Read the Glide Path kind of filled that role that Ravenous Rebel took before. We did have access to Bolt and Shot. I guess actually let me have the disclaimer really quick of, during Tales of Arya, I did not play very much Azalea. So this list is kind of mushed together based on some lists that I had saved in my FabDB account, as well as having it be like a middle ground between what I actually played during Monarch and what I actually played during Everfest. So I don't know that I ever had this 80 cards sleeved up together at the same time, but this is roughly what I would have played. Or if someone told me today I have to go play a Tales of Arya Azalea list, this is roughly what I'd play. We didn't have Release the Tension, which made killing like Oldhim much harder. The nice part about the time was we had Prism, which meant there was like no Oldhims, or very few Oldhims. So Release the Tension wasn't as needed, but we did get that option later. I was playing Searing Shot still. This ended up getting... This was kind of the start with the Bolt and Shots of having access to that Tunic Load Death Dealer as one of your more powerful lines. Whether that was Bolt and Shot into E-Strike off of the Tunic Load, you also had like Pitch Blue Bolt and Shot into CNC. We still had all the defensive cards, and again, there was the Plunder Run. Another part of... Because we were playing Plunder Run still, Ravenous Rebel Yellow was very powerful for just threatening additional ways to get your draw. Similar to how all of the wide tools work with Premeditate now. That was part of what it was important for. Not having Rain Razors was a big thing, because our ability to close out a game back then was significantly worse not having access to Rain Razors. We did have Bolt and Shot for this small window, which this is like a weird era. Like I said, I didn't play very much Azalea, so having an era with Bolt and Shot but no Rain Razors is going to feel really weird. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hop into a game and see how that goes. You guys are going to like the Monarch meta one. The Monarch list that I have built here is actually one of my probably one of the weird iterations. I think it ended up being a very strong, well, as strong as Azalea could be at the time. Oh boy. Speaking of not being able to close out games, let's see what we can do here. I think I have to play snaps. Oh no. Yeah. Tales of Arya Azalea, not good. Good old yellow hamstring shot. Bolt and Shots get so much worse when I don't have Rain Razors, so maybe that's a justifiable block. I think I need to leak 2 here. Yep. So actually, during Tales, I jumped onto Lexi, but I didn't give up Death Dealer. I played Death Dealer Lightning Lexi for quite some time. And then I ended up registering Death Dealer Ice. Whoops. Crap. Whatever. This should not have been read in the ledger. I registered Death Dealer Ice Lexi for U.S. Nationals 2021. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I saw Papaya. He cut Crow's Nest because it's bad and put in Yellow Hamstring Shot. It's the new meta, guys. I am specifically queuing in the casual queue. But yeah, it's this is gonna be a bit grim. But yeah, I think this should have been a Remorseless. Yep, should have been a Remorseless. But yeah, Tails meta was odd. Our pitch curve. I mean, the casual queue is for people who are trying to learn decks. Like I don't have a particularly strong opinion on whether or not you should be able to play, or what you should or shouldn't be able to queue in this. I can't give up equipment, which means I can give him this, and we'll lose these. Yeah, Tales of Arya was odd because that was the first time that we had frostbites. Yeah, I think there's a strong argument to play Perch into Oldham, but yeah, I'm not sure. I guess, yeah, without Rain Razors, I probably should just be on Perch. Yeah, this game is doomed. So notably, Premeditate is supposed to be Plunder Run, so I'm going to be arsenaling the Plunder Run instead of playing it. This is where if it was a Plunder Run, this hand would be a lot better. Yep, Drill Shot. It's weird. Drill Shot didn't actually exist until Dynasty, but it feels like we've been playing it for so much longer. This is really bad. If this was actually a Plunder Run, this would be fine. I'm just gonna save it in Arsenal at this point then. Yeah, because if this was a plunder run, it would have played it and E-striked for 10. Yeah, this was a weird era where... what was I saying? Oh yeah, so our pitch base was actually quite low. And I manually added a few extra. At the time, I think I was only playing... Maybe I was playing the full 6. I think I might have been as low as 3 or 4 blues prior to that, because there was nothing disrupting it. Like, I didn't need more. Okay, we got a memorial ground. Sure. So I'm looking for a buff on top. It's not a buff. Very sad. Yep. Alright, that's a buff. Alright, so we get to push a little bit of damage here. And then this turn ended up being nice and functionally like a plunder run. But yeah, that was actually one of the disappointing things about Briar getting what's it called? Briar getting our thing banned. Plunder Run. It was a very important buff in the deck because we didn't have a lot of buffs back in Tales of Arya. Like I mentioned in Everfest is where we got like the Read the Glide Path and Release the Tension and Rain Razors. So like we were playing Yellow Come to Fight because we had so few buffs. I'm likely getting pummeled here. Yeah, he blocked with a pummel. What am I doing? I'll just get the sigil here. I can't block it out entirely. But he blocked with a red pummel, so there's always a pummel here. Yeah, now we have more buffs than we could ever fit. Like, we don't even play Nimblism or Take Aim anymore. What am I afraid of here? Like, a Spinal? Not really. Am I going to be on the front foot enough to set up a Bolton? I don't think so. And we do just take that, because now it's only 6, but we come back with that and I get to Arsenal the D-React. He's down 2 CNCs and 2 red pummels, which is quite nice. The issue is this deck has so many defensive cards in it right now. Yeah, exactly. There's just too many buffs now. There's a discussion point of holding the Arsenal to try and dominate. I think I'm gonna greed. I've just seen a big streak of D-React, so ideally we just don't see D-React into D-React. And I have the snaps to get around that. Sweet. This unfortunately is an issue with the Rampart blocks, because obviously if he Crown Ramparts and is able to fully block the Bolton shot, we don't get to close this out. Hey Templar. I have not had an RTN yet. The US RTNs don't start until this weekend, but I've got 2 lined up for the weekend, 1 CC and 1 draft. So CC on Saturday, draft on Monday, or Sunday. Hey Joshua, how's it going? No, he had the staunch. Luckily he didn't block with Rampart though. I'm just going back through some old Azalea decks. Searing Shot Arsenal or... Yeah, I think I want to use the Tunic resource here. Not great with the Memorial Ground to Arsenal, but is what it is. We'll make do. Yeah, I'm going back through some old Azalea lists. So right now I'm playing... move this here, and it goes up here. Beautiful. Yeah, playing some old Azalea lists. I'm currently playing the Tales of Arya iteration. Alright, he had 2 staunches. I am very happy to get 2 staunches out of the way there. The game is not going great, but it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, Azalea's in a quite a good spot right now. The thing is, I want to go back and look at like where she's been, and like I said, I really don't think it has been that bad. Okay, so do we save the Memorial Ground and just take the Sleep Dart Dominate for 6? No. It's a disaster. Is what it is though. Oh wait, shoot, I forgot. Oops. I forgot Come to Fight buffs the Rabble. I'm used to playing my buffs prior to the Rabble. I mean, Come to Fight is just like bad Deadeye. I'm playing Azalea this weekend. Depending on... I mean, she's gonna get LL points. I'd be so incredibly surprised if she didn't. But, yeah. If for some reason she doesn't, I'll definitely be on Azalea for the full ProQuest season. If she does get LL points this weekend, there is a chance that I play something else in the following weekends. And so here... want to load this. I think it technically is. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the status of it is, but technically it never ended. Being in NA, all of the EU and like Australia and New Zealand RTNs will finish before mine, and I guess even the east coast of the United States, my RTNs will be some of the last ones to do. So it's possible if I win that it would be a tie on the day, but like if we go the pure chronological, it's very unlikely that I'll end up being the first. But yeah, killing Oldham, notably, I mean, I guess there isn't a ton of new cards, but yeah, killing Oldham in current form with no Rain Razors, no Read the Glide Path, no, I mean, there's a lot that's missing, even from like the Everfest. No Release the Tensions. This is unfortunately quite the uphill battle. Yeah, no Rain Razors, no Drill Shot. Oh, I'm definitely on Death Dealer. I don't have the reps on Sandscour. My area is also very Dromai heavy. And yeah, Dromai is very bad for Sandscour. I'm quite comfortable in the matchup with Death Dealer though, so yeah. I needed that 8 dominate to hit. Yeah, I think obviously it's just Talishar games, but with current Death Dealer Azalea, I'm like, it's some absurd number. I want to say it's like 14-1 into Dromais in the past week. And my one loss was against a good Dromai player that I was doing test games with. I haven't lost to any on Talishar. Or on regular Talishar. Shoot. Yeah, that's the other thing, is you're much more susceptible to Tumultai. Good old yellow hamstring shot. Yeah, yeah. Deadeye with aim counters is quite good. For sure. Oh, very glad that he did not use. I think this is my Snap's turn. Just because I want the dominated 8 here. I don't know, maybe I don't Snaps here. I don't know, we'll see how he blocks. I leave myself open to an ice react if I do that. Okay, now this is interesting. We'll go for it. I haven't seen any ice cards from him yet. So we're gonna assume that there's no ice cards. This also keeps him off the hammer, which should help preserve my health total a little bit. Oh. Alright. Yeah, I'm having a bit of trouble pushing through this. I don't have the health buffer to go blind. Man, this is rough. I don't know, I think I have to. Yeah. O is rewarded. There's a few changes to the list that I played in Baltimore. I'm looking at frailty traps. I believe is kind of the biggest change. Okay, just a cranial. I've got 2 buffs and a knock and a tunic. One buff. Oh, I'm not happy about going this low. I think I need to give him the... yeah. No, Oldhams should still be playing Rampart into Azalea. Ugh, this is annoying. I'm so far back, there's no fatigue shot either. What do you mean you lose the frailty value on the first arrow they shoot? You get the frailty applies retroactively. So if they lead with like a searing shot for 4 go again, frailty trap blocks it because it drops it to 3. This unfortunately has to be a hamstring shot. But yeah, unfortunately this matchup has been quite grim. Or it was very grim up until getting drill shot, at which point there was like some hope. And now with all the outsiders tools, it feels very doable. It's still rough, but it's doable. Yes, the arrow remembers where it was fired from. Feels bad getting peace of minded. Not gonna lie. I don't think I have enough buffs to get that much more value out of this. I don't think I can play around the direct in Arsenal right now, so this has to just be a searing shot. Yes, so that's another thing. The frailty trap does just kill the, whatever it's called. The bolt and shot. If they just go +1 and you frailty trap them, it loses go again. And you either take their snaps or their turn. Or they could have the rain razors, but you know. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how many mistakes he needs to make for me to get there. I think I need to do this. No, this is gonna get the rampart block, which I'm not too happy about. Yeah, not having rain razors makes it I'm missing rain razors so much right now. Like, it's such a good card. Oh, he doesn't rampart block? Okay, there's another mistake. So it's gotta be like a peace of mind or something. Yeah, he's keeping the 2 floating. It's gonna be a peace of mind for this, I imagine. Yeah. No buff in hand is rough. This is part of the reason why headshot became such a strong tool. Yeah, headshot was just good. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, I don't. Into stuff like Oldham, I don't care about the on hits, I just care about the damage number dealt. And so, like, headshot could have been a couple extra damage here. And it was something that I didn't actually figure out until Uprising. So, all through Everfest, I wasn't playing headshot. Yeah, that is one really annoying part, that Heave works like that. But, like, here's where I'm looking, where just having a headshot would be great right now. Engrave to Memorial Ground. Alright. Plunder Run. Actually, he's just put the Thunderquake in Arsenal. I have to keep him off the like, I have to try and stop him from casting that. No. Why has it got to be a blue on top? Probably because I only have 9 cards left in deck, but details. Man, this getting replaced by Aspire Sniping, so good. Notably, Plunder Run also would have buffed the Rebel there instead, but is what it is. I think Lexi is a popular enough deck, at least in my area, that I would like both of them. So, I believe my list was posted in the Azalea chat a bit earlier. Yeah. The one that doesn't have New Horizon or Dreadbore in it. Okay, so this game feels bad, but also somehow almost winnable. I do have to give him these. So this is a situation where this being a premeditate is obviously much better than plunder run. I think I've even said I think premeditate is just better than plunder run. Which is crazy to think about. But like, we've already seen a couple times here that plunder run was really good, but it was a little bit clunky at times. Premeditate just fits so much better with the deck. And I believe I've sent another memorial ground to the bottom. Oh no, stop having... Oh no, I needed that to hit. I really needed my ponder. Yeah. That should be game. I just don't have the gas anymore. Yeah. It doesn't particularly matter. So it's funny to watch this game that I'm just in the habit of saving my Bolton shots for later after playing with Rain Razors. Because then I'd hit this endgame state where I've got the rain. This man's playing unmovables with his rainbow staunch, or not rainbow, red and blue staunches. But yeah, I'm used to pitching those. Still somehow got him to 5. But yeah, not having an endgame like push that I can do is really rough into Oldham. I'm gonna run another with that list. What's this one? Hopefully not another Oldham though. But yeah, like, I don't know. Even this felt like a very fine as a mid-range list. The issue is when decks get very defensive, it's hard to push through without the tools like that. See, like Alexi should be manageable. I want to take out sigils. Memorial grounds are good. I do like a lot of these D-reacts. I think I need to cut maybe hamstrings, searings. I don't know. 65 is probably fine. Obviously, Lexi is a lot stronger than she used to be, but I feel like this matchup's gonna feel a lot closer to winnable. Come on. We'll get to Arsenal. The oh, nice. He is gonna take the hit here. Da, da, da. I don't think I can afford to block this with his hand. This is gonna hurt. This ain't a block in hand. Oh, he's gonna Snaps Bracers. Alright. Imagine if I had the D-React for that. Yep. Double Arsenal here. Nope. E-Strike. Interesting. That's good enough. Oops. This is another spot where Plunder Run would have buffed the E-Strike instead of the Hamstring, which is a bit awkward. So there's a discussion here to block 4, and if he pumps it, then I have the sync, because I think with his light hand I really need to make sure that he doesn't get to do that, yeah. And I am gonna bottom that, try and find more blocks. The question is, do I care about this? I think I might. I don't think I can care enough about it. If it's a 1-cost arrow, it hurts. Okay. That's fine. Huh. I think I'm fine preserving health here. Not happy. Yeah, not happy with this. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm gonna hold the arsenal and make it look like I'm threatening the on-hit. He doesn't care. This hand is very good if I get to hold 3 cards. So I'd really like to hold 3 cards here. I think I get to hold 3 cards here. Yeah, I mean, I was in a position where I had to, where I was very sad. Okay, this is not good, but I think this is where we're at. Like, it... Yeah. Ugh. That's a good hit. Chooses not to arsenal. But getting to fire this with Dominate is pretty powerful. Hopefully I can take the front foot here. It would be nice if I had like a Codex of Frailty to turn the corner. Five, it gets discarded. That's fine. Yeah, this is fun. This is less fun. Of course he has a lightning press. Because why wouldn't he have a lightning press? Ugh. Okay, that's something. Is it something? It's not good, but it's where we're at. Sadly, I'm only going to get one card in New Horizon here, and I think that'll probably be it. The issue was, like, I could dominate red for 5, but that's not enough because of the New Horizon. And I could have saved the come to fight, but then it's dominate 7, and he still gets to pitch a card, load, and fire. I needed to push something there. This is... okay, this is something. Blocking 8. No, we do it this way. So if he has the reaction, he's gonna go over the top. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'm okay burning double react. Ridge Rider on top is fine. But like I needed him to burn the react. Is this game actually salvageable? Now there's also a consideration, do I want to fire this for 9 instead of 8? I think I do want to fire this for 9 instead of 8. On the off chance that he has 2/2 blocks, 2/3 blocks, and a 3 of a kind, that would keep him off the 3 of a kind turn here. Yeah, it's just the question of whether or not I'm going to get the Bullseye Bracers value later. And we've seen he has quite a few 2 blocks in the deck. Stuff like the Lightning Surge, the Winter's Bites. A decent amount of his pitch cards have been non-blocks. Because the goal here is just to not let him hold just a 3 of a kind. Also, he's played like Rain Razors and or Lightning Press and Rain Razors and Art of War. So there's a chance that his hand just sucks. Yeah, I mean that would be the worst case scenario, is him having 3 arrows and a 3 of a kind. Sick. We got a 3 of a kind. Do we greet it with the Ridge Rider shot, or would we take the safe line with the Sleep Dart? Sleep Dart for 7, Arsenal sink below. I think I'm down with safe. It doesn't matter too much what's in the arsenal. Oh! He bricked his hand. He arsenaled a Lightning Press. Yeah, I'm playing, So, I'd like to point out that I'm playing Tales of Arya Azalea, and I just beat Outsiders Lexi. Huh. Alright. Alright. We ready to go all the way to the Dark Ages? Alright. This is all the way back to the Dark Ages. We had Ironhide Gauntlet in the sideboard. This was for Chain, where we were playing Chain, or we were playing Feign Death for the Riftbind turns, and then just being able to throw the extra resource into Ironhide Gauntlet was valuable. This is back when we played Razor Reflex. Some of us did, not all of us. I still played Razor Reflex. Yeah. This was my life. This deck sucks. Um, so, when people think about Azalea being unplayable, this is the iteration that they have in mind. This deck was real bad. I think this was about as good as it got at the time. Oh no. Okay, can I play Stack and Fatigue? Alright, I believe. We're gonna play the Stack and we're gonna Fatigue Azalea. This literally nothing could go wrong. Yeah. I mean, on the plus side, we have the D-Rex, so that's something. I don't think they're gonna have D-Rex. They might go wide though. We'll fire the Remorseless. All right, 4-card hand threatens 5. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. This was. I guess I didn't do the side by side, but we didn't have. There was no Seek and Destroy, and we also did not have. What's the other one? Bolt and Shot. And this is back when Hamstring was like one of our better arrows. But again, it's so weird to me that we didn't play Headshot at the time. Okay, dominated Infecting Shot. He thinks 9 dominate is enough. Da, da, da. Do I want to burn 2 D-Reacts on this? I think so. Got him. Oh, I missed the days of doing that to a Crippling Crush. Alright, we're gonna save those things for later. I'm boarded up. Did I present? I think I presented full stack. Okay. I've got, like, a lot of D-Reacts. I've got... Oh, Feign Death isn't gonna go as far, because he doesn't actually go wide. Ooh, Feign Death is actually gonna be real bad. Huh. Okay, this is a hand. Oh boy. Big number. Oh yeah, hamstring shot. Okay, so I think I'm blocking Ridge Rider and I'm using my Tunic resource to fire this CNC. Endless is kind of a problem dominated. Yeah, that was a very tall drill shot. Interesting that he pitches the premeditate. I kind of want to deal with this endless. It's okay, we'll go long. Sucks I had to block with a yellow. I could have blocked with the take aim. Oh no, I couldn't have because I needed to stop the endless hit. Just for 5. I just don't have a great way of firing this hamstring shot, so I think I'm okay just doing this, and I'll save the premeditate for later. Yeah, this Feigned Death is going to be a real liability this game. I was expecting like the wide list where I'd be able to get value off of it with what are the cards? Rabble, Bolt and Shot, E-Strikes, stuff like that. Ten. Yeah. I don't know how often the blue Boltons are gonna get fired though. Okay, so we're using the Fate for Scene. It's red in the ledger. Am I really taking 6 here? Yeah, I think I need to. Nope, I can't feign death the Blood Rot. Because the Blood Rot happens on my turn. Wait. Oh my gosh. I forgot to Fate for Scene. Oh, it's a disaster. I'm used to just not blocking now. Yep, and that'll just pay for the bullet route here. Well, I casted one sigil. Getting through a good amount of his... a reasonable amount of cards. I just presented a lot more. How do we do? Of course it had to be remorseless. Alright. With the lace with inertia, of course. This might be Tunic Gauntlet time. Not Tunic? Yeah, Tunic. Sucks, but it is what it is. I'm taking so much damage here. Ugh. I gotta do something. I'm taking 3 here to get an arsenal. This is not going well. I'm taking way too much damage. Really? Stupid remorseless. Yep. Yeah, there's probably at least 2 more memorials in their deck. It's rough. Okay, got a sigil. Remorseless was not correct there, I don't think. Okay, here we are. Unfortunately, don't have the luxury of playing the take aim here. There's 2 more take covers in my deck. He's down 3 remorseless. He's gonna give me the cross wrap. Or not cross wrap, the New Horizon. Okay. Staying alive. Okay. Okay. Got 1 more sigil and 2 more take covers in deck. That's what I'm trying to find. Coming up on my Tunic turn. Uh-oh, these aren't the draws. These are not the blocking cards that I was looking for. Oh no. Yeah. That'll do it. Honestly, a lot closer than it should have been. Because what, that's 9-14? Yeah. If I had more 3 blocks. I mean, I still managed 10 value per turn. No, his remorseless line were quite awkward to deal with. But honestly, that deck didn't even feel that bad. No, I'm not playing that matchup. It's an actual 0% now, or in Monarch. Yeah, I'll play a dash. Oh, I queued the wrong deck. Shoot. Alright, well, you get some current Azalea. Oops. They're playing Pounder. This game should go quickly. Yeah, that was a mistake. Definitely tried to Q Monarch again. It hurts, but I'm gonna block it to premeditate here. I'll see if for some reason there's something else. Oh, they don't have an induction chamber. So, yeah, it didn't end up mattering too much. But there was an argument to hold back the Spire sniping, just to make sure I have an arrow here. But I'm always punished for it. Oh, never mind, not punished. Alright, getting 5 armor on a non-dominated attack. I'm always happy with that. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I actually was really enjoying that Monarch era Azalea. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure. Sorry that this one isn't history right now. I accidentally queued the wrong deck, but I was playing Monarch Azalea, and I'm gonna be going back to it. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, a lot of the play patterns and like the pitch ratios and everything all stayed reasonably consistent. Uh, it's just cards kept upgrading and upgrading. Let me see. I guess I can pull it up. We'll finish this game, but then I've got a side by side of all of them, and we can look at cards that have gone in and out of the deck. The responsible adult thing here to do is block, but we don't like blocking. But yeah, not blocking, that was very much so wrong. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny when you saw I was playing against a Lexi, and I beat a current Lexi. Obviously, there's like some matchup difference in knowledge and all that good stuff. Oh, I was supposed to block with that. Oops. It's fine. We see a buff here every time. It's not a buff. Yeah, exactly. Like, all of these cards is just better buffs, better arrows, better, yeah, just everything's a little bit better. Yeah, I got distracted and went into my Outsiders Azalea of no blocking game plan. Come on. This is an interesting discussion, though, on this turn cycle, because I was considering loading the Battering Bolt, but if I draw another arrow, it's really bad. So I may just load the Remorseless, and then if I draw another arrow, I can snap Bracers. Yeah, I think it's just the Remorseless. Oh, what? No, I'm just gonna load the Battering Bolt now and try and set up a big hand. Oh, I got punished so hard. Alright, so we just blind Azalea now, right? I'm just having fun with it. That is accurate. Although I guess blocking with actions also feels weird. I don't know how you make that work logically. Double codex, not where I want to be. It should be fine though, because we can do this. Beautiful. Don't want that knock. We go tall. Just a little bit tall here. Just a tiny bit tall. What is this? 17? Just a little tall. With on-hit blood rot, it's basically 19. And they grab back Pulse Wave. Yeah, it's not even 20. Like, honestly, turn was not very good. That doesn't... actually... Nah, that's good. We gotta go zoom zoom. So here, because I didn't have a pitch card, I'm gonna E-strike... I saw a pitch with the opt. We get to E-strike, draw, snaps, and then we get to continue with the pitch card, which ends up being really, really good, because these snaps translate to 2 cards now, because it stops me pitching 2 reds. So snaps for 2 cards, pretty good. Especially in these like fast aggro matchups. And then I want to rabble afterwards to see what, whoops, to see what we find. We got a Bolton shot. I have no snaps. Interesting. Do we fire this for 7 or do I fire this for 8 or 7 dominate into 5? I have the pitch. We're gonna be greedy. Yeah. Basically in the aggro matchups, burn snaps as soon as it's like a valuable snaps. Like in that case, I'm usually looking for an early snaps would need to be like 4 to 5 value. In this case, snaps getting to save me 2 cards is like 6 value. In like that specific situation. Also here we're forcing blocks, which is good. He's also under frailty. I'd also like to note that this game was 25 to 40. I took 15 and then he took 37. Yeah, I don't care about this. Okay. Oh, Pulse Wave is gonna steal a card. That's a little bit annoying. But we do save the arrow here. You should be taking the release the tension, I assume. And pistol for 1. pistol for 1 and 1? I don't know what he, like... This is not an accelerator turn. Okay, apparently it's an accelerator turn. I feel like getting 1 value out of your accelerator is not the play. Six or nine. We'll play it safe. We'll just come in for 6. All of Dash's cards block 3 for the most part. So taking the 3rd card I don't think matters enough. It matters more to have the consistency for next turn to make sure I can kill him. Because I risk not being able to kill him if I play the Lace with Inertia here. We're also coming up on the Tunic turn. Yeah, he's very dead. And this is 4 into 14. So why are you attacking for 2 there? Are you just pistol for 2? I don't know. I don't know, Dash is like 117% dead here. I could dominate here, but it's funnier not to dominate. Come on. See, funnily enough, I actually think if I queued Monarch into this, I would have been able to fatigue them and just win. Like, I actually think my Monarch list fatigues this Dash. Yeah, 4 into 14, threatening 4 additional. Let me grab that list again. Let's try this again. Ah, beautiful. What would be great if that same Dash queued back into me, and then I switch from like full aggro to full fatigue. Oh. Why is he queuing regular? That feels like a mistake, but... Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to block this out, but we'll try. Yeah, I don't know why Lionel's queuing regular matches right now. See, this is a spot where if this was Plunder Run, it would have been great. Oh, it would have been so good if this was a Plunder Run. Because that would have been CNC for 9. And actually, I think I was supposed to Azalea first. Where's my D-Reacts? Yeah, I guess if I was playing like it was a plunder run, I would have plunder run first. Da, da, da. I guess I don't really need to knock red in the ledger here. I think this is fine. I think just stopping the endless was good enough. Oh, this is gonna hurt. I think I'm taking this here and getting the direct in Arsenal. Oops. Sorry. That's fine. Buff. That'll work. This is interesting. Do I value a sleep dart? I think I do. It's close though. Probably ends up... Nope, doesn't. Nope. Should have been remorseless. Oh, it's a disaster. Okay. Am I giving up Tunic here? I could just block 6. It's gonna be... Oh. Oh no. I'm so sad that he hit that. Oh, it just found him like 9 damage. Of course we draw a Feign Death when we don't have Tunic or a yellow. Go again. There's a discussion to give the gauntlet here. No, there really wasn't. Yeah, that was a... giving the gauntlet was a big mistake. I'm an idiot. Maybe I was supposed to board out some 2 blocks. No, I need to block here. I think I'm committing to the fatigue plan. Where are my feigned deaths? Wait, oh, I can't give up my tunic. Do I have to give up my tunic here? It's fine, I'm gonna draw double feign death soon. Feign Death with... That's fine. Still one more Codex. I could feign this. Yeah. There's one more rain, which is a little annoying. I'm gonna play the sigil first. Oh, that's rude. Yeah, it's fine. Yep. Oh, these are all these ice cards that they had. Forgot about that. This is the rain turn. It's the rain codex turn. Oh, this is gonna hurt, but this reload I'm not worried about. But I think I am dead here. Yep. Yep, because here's the codex. Oh. That too. Almost enough. Yeah, I needed to take out some of my no blocks. And my 2 blocks. Also that endgame E-strike, where I pitched away all this stuff. I don't know if that was correct. Maybe I was supposed to just hold the 3 blocks and the Feign Death. I needed to get a defensive card in Arsenal, though. Yeah, I feel like that game was winnable. He stumbled really hard, but I didn't have any reds. On that Frostlock that I let connect... Oh, I guess the biggest one is I gave up my gauntlet for no reason. I just for some reason brain farted on the line. So I gave up the gauntlet. And actually, on that turn, I probably should have just blocked with the take aim, because I was so far ahead in fatigue that I was never running out of cards, so just getting the 2 block out of my deck would have been better. So, like, there was an improvement there. The Frostlock was interesting. No, I can't win that. Yeah, I could probably win this. Dang it, I queued the wrong deck again. I don't want to... Yeah, I really don't want to play that. I want to play this. Hey Adam, how's it going? And thanks. Yeah, I'm just having fun with it right now. I'm playing... This is almost the 80 cards that I registered for the Las Vegas calling in 2021. Obviously premeditates were plunder runs, but otherwise I think this was the list I registered. Let's try fatiguing this. Hey Ryan, how's it going? Yeah, that was good times. No, I'm playing against current decks. I almost just fatigued Alexi. I should probably be cutting some 2 blocks. Oh well. Yeah, so across this stream I've been slowly reducing, or going back in time. So like I played through like Dynasty. I skipped Uprising because it was very similar to Everfest. And we played Everfest and Tales of Arya, and back at Monarch feels real awkward. But I don't know, like, I say it's awkward, but it also feels really, really not that bad. Like, I don't know. Something very special about this old Azalea. There's not something special about getting CNC'd with D-Reacts in my hand. I don't miss that part. Am I giving him 3 cards? Very sad. Definitely miss take aim. Card was fun. But we just don't have space anymore. The deck list is so tight these days on buffs. Like, there's so many buffs I'd love to still run that I can't. Meanwhile, I was playing Yellow Come to Fight back in Monarch, so you can see just how far we've come. Man, 5's such a shitty number. No, the min-max one and the one this weekend are fine for my sleep. It's the following weekend that's gonna be bad. Or the middle weekend is the one that's bad. I'm still gonna play. Was I supposed to reload there? I think I was supposed to reload there. Never punished, though. Oh, why's that, Ryan? Probably get CNC or shakedown here. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Okay. Second shakedown gone though. Takes my sleep dart, which is perfectly fine. Because I get to rabble tunic hamstring. Which is actually quite good. Unfortunately, I am showing that I have a D-React, but is what it is. I'm a little concerned about how quickly I'm falling behind in fatigue. Got 13 cards gone to their 9, so I'm 4 cards behind on pacing. I'm slightly ahead in health, though. Okay, yeah, still about there. And they know I have a take cover. Since we're going purely fatigue, I'm gonna go buff. Or not purely fatigue, but like we're playing more so for fatigue than tempo. Also, arsenaling cards feels kind of bad against Azuri. Because they have Codex of Frailty, I have Come to Fight. So, mine blocks for more, so clearly I'm in the better position here. I got Uno reversed. Oh, it's a go again? Huh. So that's gonna be into a Codex. Codex leave no witnesses. Man, Codex leave no witnesses is so unfun. So I am blocking. Ugh. It feels so bad. I don't know, maybe I let them take my arsenal? I don't know. It's so bad, no matter how I look at it. The fact that Codex and Assassin just is a one card for 3 is just obnoxious. Or it's plus 2 cards. I mean, I guess since I have a D-React, then it's just the normal 2 cards for 1. But when you don't have the D-React, they get 3 cards for 1. And of course they lead with the Nerve Scalpel. The time where I have the direct. As is tradition. Got him. Sadly, my tunic was not up, but still got him. Yeah. Of course it was CNC. I could use this for the reload. Seems like a very inefficient use of it, but otherwise I'm wasting another card. This doesn't matter, we'll just put like a searing shot. I mean, I guess I could have... No, that was just a mistake. I was supposed to sink below from Arsenal to the Azalea ability. In case it was a CNC. Yeah. Alright, so I just punted that. We're fine. I'm so annoyed I had to block with a CNC. It's just so much value in this matchup. No, actually it's hamstring, I think. Yeah, I'm so annoyed. I'm just down 4 health that I had no business being down. Yeah. Yeah, if I had to play a list like this today, there might need to be like an endless arrow in there. Just for like an end game situation. Oh, of course it has to be a feigned death. Notably here, if that was a plunder run, I would have done it the other way. I would have reloaded the premeditate. Or reloaded the plunder run and done basically that same line then. This contract list is obnoxious when I'm out of D-Reacts. Like, I can't afford to let these hit. But I also don't want to give 2 cards. I have 2 feigned deaths still. It might actually be the cross wrap. Like, I don't think I have much use for the cross wrap in this matchup. I'm a little concerned at my amount of D-Reacts I've gone through. It's 4, 5. And I pitched away at least 1. No, Azalea ability's nice. It's so annoying. There's now the tunic. Still get scalpeled though. I'll leave that on top in case he gets the react. Should be coming up on... Yeah, I was also expecting a shred, but like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. I'll be honest, these games have said a lot about the power creep in this game. The fact that I still feel like these are actually still games, and we have like twice as many sets as we do, or we now have twice as many sets as we did when this was a list. This was also considered the weakest deck in the game that many sets ago, and it still feels like it's just a little bit short. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. Wow, he's giving me a Codex of Frailty and his Flick Knives? That feels like a mistake. Gosh, I hate leave no witnesses so much. Oh, that's a CNC. Oh, that's CNC. It makes me feel a lot better. It's not even. Look at that. It's not actually that much better, but it makes me feel better. Okay, so we do the E strike. We discard. Memorial can get back E strikes, so we discard this. Come to fight. Best card in the deck. It's so good. Okay, that's all 3 codexes gone. All 3 CNCs. All 3 leave no witnesses. How many shakedowns? Only 2? Oh, there's the 3rd. It's so sad. I really don't want to give him silver here, but I think I need to take at least some form of pivot here. Okay, hamstring's fine. Oh, I was supposed to play the premeditate first. Doesn't matter too much. Okay, so I think I don't care about. Do I have to go full for the fatigue plan? I think I do. Yeah, I was supposed to play the premeditate prior to the memorial ground. And yeah, obviously I can't play the premeditate entirely like it's a plunder run, just because functionally it is still a premeditate in here, but back in my day, which I guess was almost 2 years ago now, we were playing plunder run in that spot before it was banned. I guess I wasn't supposed to play the memorial ground yet. I was supposed to wait. Sure. Am I just going 7 for the raw value? I think I am. Like, I don't think this game comes down to tempo. I think it comes down to value. But I need him to not have. any card. I have to make his health total go low enough to where he doesn't get to hold cards to dagger. I may not win, but I'd like to at least draw this game. Both of my Feign Deaths should be coming up soon, which is fine, because I've been sandbagging this Tunic resource. Yeah, there's one. Oh, he's playing Last Ditch. I need to save a Feign Death for Last Ditch, question mark? Do I have any memorials left, or did I have to discard? Still have one sigil left. He's realizing the game state, so that's why we saw him just pitch 2 blues to dagger. I think I'm okay bottoming that for now. This will be nice, because I'll be able to keep him off of daggers for a turn cycle. So we established that there's one memorial. Is it really only one memorial engrave? Because memorials get me back E-strikes, which is quite good. Ooh, I like the surgical block. This is only for 2 damage. Maybe this razor was incorrect. The issue is I would have had to arsenal it, which I don't like. Those are fine. Should be out of frailty traps. That's an Oasis. Maybe I was supposed to take some more damage. Yeah, because he gets 5 value out of 1 card. It's really good. Oh, we got the 3rd shakedown. That's real good. There's the memorials. Oh, it's so beautiful. We could take the 4 dominate, or just take the... Yeah, no, let's take the 4 dominate here. And I should be drawing my last Feign Death here, I believe. This last-ditch effort's gonna be a bit of an issue. Potentially, unless he goes dagger last-ditch. We're playing this come to fight for 2 value, or do we want... Oh, actually no, the top card of my deck is Memorial Ground, so maybe that was a mistake here. I think the top card's my Memorial. Maybe it's 1 more down. That would be a really bad mistake to make. Because if it was Memorial, I could have cast a Memorial, pitched... Yeah. This is fine. Yeah, it was Memorial. Oops. Oh, does he have 2 last ditches? That's actually slightly concerning. It's got 2 last ditches. If I go 9, he can only play 1. 1 on this turn cycle, 1 on the next turn cycle. There's also a world where... So his hand is 2 blues, 2 last-ditch efforts, right? It's got 1 equipment block. It's all 3 Oasis. Shoot. No, I think I need the highest value on my I needed the highest value on my Memorial, which is this way. E-strike. So this demands at least 1 card out of his hand. I'm gonna arsenal the Feign Death. Right? Could've just bottomed the blue. Oh, he didn't. He just has the... If it's a Remembrance in Arsenal, I'm gonna be pissed. It might be a Remembrance in Arsenal. Alright, we take those. I had not much damage left. I had 2, 8, 9, 10. I had 10 damage left, which was enough because he only had 6 block potentially. Actually, was it enough? If he just sat there and was pitching bites, no, because he would block and we would draw. Oh, I missed blocking. That game was so much fun. Like, I had to E-strike for 7... I think I did it 7 times. I got it once off of his codex, and then I memorialed back 3 E-strikes. Yeah. I don't know if I would go quite that far, because this deck scoops to Oldhim. But, like, oh, I missed the defensive game plan from Azalea. Like, getting to play all these defensive cards was so much fun. But the problem is the deck just doesn't have enough of a damage push. Like, it's too mid-range, or it's too far on the defensive side, so that if you sit down against a Dromai, you scoop. You sit down against an Oldhim, you scoop. And part of those... That's part of why the deck has shifted so aggressively. Even prior to Outsiders, the deck was shifting more and more aggressive. Yeah, and that's the other thing, is, like, they clearly did not expect to get fatigued. Because, yeah. They only played 60, and I played full stack. Yeah. Yeah, if people knew that you were trying... That's the thing, is like a Fatigue Azalea doesn't work. It sort of worked against old Lexi, where you could actually block her out when she played like the ice package for aggro. But yeah, I don't know. I miss games of Flesh and Blood like this, where it goes long and it's like, how much value do I have left, instead of who finds a big explosive turn faster. And just like, oh, I had a 30 damage turn, you had a 30 damage turn, game's over on turn 3. But, oh well, is what it is. Thank you everyone for... Oh, actually, no, I had one more thing on here. That's, this. This is the side-by-side of the deck lists I've played. Actually, it's not the exact deck list I played, it's where I think the deck list should have been. I changed a couple cards, but this is basically where it was at. So, like, we can look at something like Battering Bolts. They came out in Everfest. They probably should have gone in Everfest. But the thing was, during Uprising, I didn't play any poppers. I switched off of CNCs and onto Battering Bolts, and I should have made the switch sooner. So there should have been poppers in this list here, ideally, but it is what it is. Bolt and Shot obviously entered at Tails and has been an inclusion in the list ever since. Not mentioned here, there was actually a time period in like early Everfest where I wasn't actually playing Bolt and Shot. It was a mistake, but I wasn't. I guess I skipped the equipment. Ironhide Gauntlet, as you guys saw there, paired well with Feign Death, and it was primarily there for like chain, because the idea was you could block like the Riftbind turns. This was back when he had seeds, and so if you could block a Riftbind for like 10 using a Feign Death, like that was your win condition, and then you could block him out by playing very defensively, like you saw me doing there. At the time, I also wasn't even playing snaps, or we were on and off snaps, and the reason was that the deck just didn't use snaps well. It just much preferred the Perch Grapplers and like everything. Crow's Nest obviously came in during Outsiders. CNC just got replaced by a Battering Bolt as an extra popper. Down and Dirty is a new inclusion because of the prevalence of Dromai. Drill Shot, we didn't get until Dynasty, but is really, really good now that we have it. Enlightened Strike, one of the few cards that has stayed in the list, has always been in the list for me. I know some people have talked about cutting it in current versions. I I think it's too good to cut. But it's not one of the strongest cards in the deck anymore like it used to be. Fate Foreseen, sadly, has gone to the wayside with Outsiders. Up until that point, it was played. Fatigue Shot had a nice run when it came out. Notably during Everfest, it was really, really good into Starvo. And when it came out, it was one of our better arrows. I pivoted away from it a little bit because it didn't have as much meta application in Dynasty, and then obviously now we just have too many good options. Frailty Trap's something I'm trying, but this may or may not stay in the list. Hamstring Shot's another one that was like a staple for a long time, and then finally in Dynasty it got a little tight, so sometimes I ran 0, sometimes I ran 2. But in my indie list during Dynasty meta, I did play 2. Headshot, this was the weird one, because this card was out at the very beginning, and I was trying to play a mid-range game plan, and for some reason, I never played Headshot. Over the years, people mentioned Headshot, they're like, oh, it's good. I'm like, but it's vanilla damage, there's no on-hit, why would I play that? Turns out vanilla damage with no on-hit's pretty good when that damage is significantly above rate. Or notably above rate. So yeah, that came in and was a huge overperformer during Uprising and Dynasty. And obviously has come out because space. These are all new Outsiders cards, the Laces, Infects, and Melting Point. Nimblism was filler as a buff, and with the release of Outsiders, we don't need filler anymore. I think there could have been a place for Nimblism during Dynasty, but it did end up getting cut in my list. These premeditates are actually plunder runs, because if we look at the Monarch meta, the entirety of our buffs were premeditate, or plunder run, Nimblism, take aim. Those were our 0 for 3 buffs. That's the only options we had. So then yellow come to fight made it in the list, and that was it. That version had 12 buffs in the deck, as opposed to now we run 24 and board up to 30, and there's buffs we don't play. I played 12 at that time. It's just crazy to see how much that's changed. But yeah, Plunder Run was like our best buff. There was actually an iteration of Azalea where I tried to play it more aggressively in Monarch, where I played some number of yellow Plunder Runs and take aims, because those obviously had a strong synergy where you could take aim a Plunder Run into Arsenal and then play it. The deck just didn't have enough gas, because playing cards that give you +2 is just not really where you want to be on like your 2 blocks. Ravenous Rebel, next one that has made it all the way through. I'm a big fan of Rabble. There were people early on who didn't play it. I think it was a staple all through the mid time, and then there's discussion to cut it now, but I don't think you can afford to cut it, especially with Premeditate. Razor Reflex, I hate this card so much in the deck. Anytime you head to Azalea and you'd see a Razor Reflex, and it's like, you can't Azalea into a Razor Reflex. There was the short time during Tails where Razor Reflex came out and I was playing no reactions, and we were like, man, I wish we could get... First we wanted a 0 cost buff. And actually, we didn't even think about the way Rain Razors would work with being able to be a reaction while also being able to cast it out of Arsenal. But the fact that Razor Reflex got replaced by Rain Razors as that like combat trick card, and also didn't break your Arsenal, was like a massive upgrade. And then it's a yellow, and then sometimes it buffs more than one arrow. Like, this Razor Reflex to Rain Razors was a huge bump, and I'm very happy about it. Read the Glide Path. Again, we went from having very few buffs. We like I said, we had the 3 0 for 3 buffs. Then we got Seek and Destroy in Tales of Arya. And then all of a sudden in Everfest, we got Read the Glide Path and Release the Tension. I guess that replaced the Plunder Run that had just gotten banned. And then we also got Rain Razors. So like the amount of buffs we had available to us just went way up, and it was like huge increase. Where was I? But yeah, Glide Path ended up actually being a 6 of all the way up until Outsiders, because it was just so good. The additional opt gives you so much more flexibility in the deck. The issue with the yellows now is that we just have raw power. We don't need as much flexibility as we did before. So it's sad, but yellow Glide Path doesn't quite fit. The other thing is, I guess I'll cover it as I get a little closer to the yellows, but Searing Shot was an early 0 for 4. Played that for a while because you needed 0 cost Tunic to fire, or Tunic load fire. We added in the Bolton shots, and then the rest of the Searing Shots, we didn't have any 0 for 4 non-Bolton shots here. There was a consideration for Overflex. I don't think Increase the Tension was ever good enough. I didn't like Increase the Tension enough. But Overflex was a consideration. The only thing is, the Overflex probably would have ended up being yellow, because we were so low on pitch. I actually increased these numbers for this stream. In my actual list at the time, I believe I was only running 4 blues. It was 3 knock and 1 blue Ridge Rider, which was probably not correct, but it's how many I ran. I fixed it here because I realized, like, wait, I've got Razor Reflexes in here. Why am I only running 4 blues? Should have been more. And then in Tails, it definitely went up to 3, or it went up to 6 blues. Where was I? Oh yeah, Searing Shot. This was our 0 for 4 for a while. Obviously, it's been replaced by Drill Shot. Although there have been times recently in Outsiders where I'm like, I wish I had like a 1 of Searing Shot in my grave, because sometimes Searing Shot's better than Drill Shot if all their armor's gone. But I don't know, space is too tight. But I could see an argument for a 1 of Searing Shot. I've been wanting a 0 for 4 arrow that has a slightly better on hit than Drill Shot situationally, and Searing Shot would fit that bill. Seek and Destroy, once it was printed, has been a 3 of staple, obviously. Sigil of Solace, another one of those defensive cards that it just had too much flexibility, that it was so good. I still wish we had space for it. I've mentioned this a bunch, talking about like how the Outsiders cards has impacted how Azalea is built. But the biggest one is because we've gotten so many buffs that have on hits on their own. Stacking, it used to just be vanilla damage for the most part. You know, your stuff like Take Aims, your Nimblisms. I guess technically Seek and Destroy had an on hit on it, but it was mostly just making your arrow on hit go through. Also, most of the arrow on hits, if they threw their hand in front of it, didn't end up mattering. Whereas now we have stuff like Infecting Shot, where even if they throw their entire hand, if it hits, it's doing its on hit. But Sigil normally went in like a slot where the buffs are going now. And that just being able to play it out was very, very consistent and was good. But now that we're compounding on hits, an extra buff not only adds 3 damage, it makes your like 3 on hits more likely to hit, as opposed to just 1 on hit before. Or sometimes when they'd block out, it was 0 on hits because the on hits were all irrelevant. But now there's more and more relevant on hits that you're trying to force through. So unfortunately, it had to get replaced with a buff. Sink Below, same situation as Fate Foreseen. We just go fast. And with stuff like Premeditate and Codex of Frailty, it's harder to justify cards that can't be played out on my own turn if I draw them. Sleep Dart was a staple for a long time, but we just keep getting good arrows. We just don't quite have space for it. Take Aim, I miss Take Aim with Bolton Shot. It's so good, but there's too many good buffs. We just don't have space. Take aim is probably one of the closer buffs to coming back in. I could definitely see an argument for playing more take aims. Take cover again is unfortunately had to go. It actually got cut in Dynasty? No, okay, so I think I ended up swapping my deck list here. But I think for the indie calling I was playing take covers and not playing Sigil of Solace. I don't remember what the reason was, but that was definitely incorrect when I was expecting Icelander. Or no, I wasn't expecting Icelander at indie calling, even though it ended up winning. We were expecting low Icelander counts, so I ended up taking out the Sigil for an extra D-React, because we were expecting a bunch of Bravo. That's what it was. We were expecting Bravo and Briar, and the 4-block D-Reacts were important there. But as a whole, for that like time period, I think the Sigil was a better call. Yellow Bolt and Shot has been another card which I didn't actually play it in Everfest, even though I have it listed here. I was playing Yellow Fatigue Shots at the time, and that was because there was Starvo everywhere. So Yellow Fatigue Shot was just more impactful than Yellow Bolt and Shot. If it wasn't a Starvo meta, this would have been a Bolt and Shot, which is why I changed it here, just to keep the consistency, where cards go in and out instead of in, out for random meta reasons, not because of like card quality. These lists were supposed to show like the change in card quality a little more. Codex of Frailty, new inclusion. Card's pretty good. Come to Fight. This card got replaced by Deadeye. And if we read it, it's almost a perfect upgrade. There were applications with Come to Fight in the older sets where it was, like during Monarch, where you would go like pitch a blue to Come to Fight, Command and Conquer. And that was pretty good. But Deadeye is almost a strict upgrade. It's outside of the times where you wanted to buff like a Rabble or an E-Strike, Deadeye's just a big upgrade. And then when we got Crow's Nest, Deadeye got like a secondary upgrade. Like it gained the second half of its card text when we got Crow's Nest. So just the value. I know I feel like I run this point into the ground, but 3-block pitch card that simultaneously also can be played out when you are forced to play like a 5-card hand, when it can be played out proactively, is such a premium, which again is why Yellow Come to Fight sounds like such a bad like draft chaff card, but this card was actually quite good back then. But obviously we don't need it anymore because we got better stuff. Feign Death was more of a meta call at the time because it was a bunch of chain. This combined with the Ironhide Gauntlet was often enough to just barely let you survive through until they died. Granted, this was also back when chain players weren't as good on average, so if we went back and played the format again, I imagine it would be a lot harder to fatigue them, but I was doing it at the time. Yellow Hamstring Shot. We didn't have a ton of great arrow options. Hamstring Shot was the next like thing. It was like Hamstring Shot, Headshot, Sleep Dart as our 1-cost arrow options, and I guess Salvage Shot. Like there just weren't a ton, but we wanted yellow 3 blocks, so Hamstring Shot was perfectly fine. Memorial Ground, obviously we're all familiar with Memorial Ground. Card was very good. I felt like our card quality went up high enough to where I could cut it. I started trimming it down in Uprising, and then once Dynasty hit, it was gone for me. I know there's discussions of bringing it back, just because a lot of decks like Lexi just don't have much armor, and are also quite fragile to Red in the Ledger loop. But I don't know. There might be an argument to try and fit it back in again, but I don't particularly miss it. Rain Razors. This card is so good. I constantly have people ask me, like, can I cut Rain Razors? It's just a 0 for 2. And it doesn't block. And I don't know. It feels like this card wins me so many games. Actually, it doesn't feel like it. This card wins me so many games. This card is part of it. It's a big portion of where I think Azalea became playable, which was Everfest. Because you actually had potential to set up big turns. You had potential to combat trick without having to risk breaking your arsenal. You have more consistent opt and ability to dominate. Yes, yeah, I think it is. I think Bolt and Shot still is the best arrow in the deck. Which it was funny when I didn't play much Azalea during Tails. I picked it back up during Everfest, and I was just like, Bolt and Shot was fine. Like I mentioned, I was actually only playing the reds in paper for the pro quests, but there was actually a window of time early on in Everfest where I wasn't playing Bolt and Shot at all. And then I put in the reds, and then all of a sudden I was like, wow, red Bolt and Shot is literally the best card in the deck. I should probably play other colors of that. So then I added in the yellows, and I was like, wow, these cards are incredible. And then the blues came in. And it's just because it's so... Oops. It's so flexible. It's a premium card to Arsenal while also still being an arrow. And even like the yellow and blue ones are... when they're buffed, they're above rate for their color. They're 3 blocks, they're arrows. I don't know, it's just everything you want, all in one card. And you get to run 9 copies of it. It's incredible. Yeah, I am still very high on Bolt and Shot. And it's not a card I'd think I'd ever drop below 9 of, in a Death Dealer list at least. I can see the argument in like the Sandscour list to not play 9 of. Yeah, but Rain Razors is another reason why that's so powerful, because your Bolt and Shots are above rate on their own when you like Arsenal them. Your Rain Razors are a nice combat trick, but all of a sudden, if you just consistently are looking to like Arsenal Bolt and Shots, hold your snaps Arsenal regular arrow, and you stumble into a Rain Razors, all of a sudden your Rain Razors is a 0 for 4, 0 for 6, 0 for 8. The 8 doesn't happen too often, I'll admit, but 0 for 6 is not that uncommon. And the fact that it's a yellow 0 for 6, and also is a combat trick, like, card's real good. Big fan. Yellow Ravenous Rebel. I liked this card. It was kind of like a replacement for a buff that we had before, where the goal was to just be 3 damage. Card was pretty good. I liked it at 6. During Tails, there was an argument to not play 6 of. It probably wasn't quite good enough in Tails, but the deck list I found from Tails had it, so I included it. There was a brief window during Dynasty where I was considering Yellow Ravenous Rebel, not as just damage, but the idea was that it helps me clean up dragons against Dromai. Being able to clean up like a Chromai or like a Kyloria consistently with the Yellow Rebels was fine. I tried sideboarding in a couple of them, but it didn't feel quite as impactful as I wanted. Yellow Glide Path I talked about briefly. It was a very, very good yellow buff that came out in Everfest. Unfortunately, it's just not quite good enough with the card quality we have now in Outsiders. Yellow Ridge Rider Shots. Ridge Rider Shot was kind of the default pitch arrow we played at the time. Mostly in blue, but sometimes in yellow as well. I believe my very earliest lists actually were just yellows, which was probably not correct. I was not great at the time. I should have just played blues. But it's funny comparing Ridge Rider Shot with Spire Sniping. Like, Spire Sniping is just so much better. when it's loaded, it's like slightly better, but then the fact that you can arsenal spire sniping and still get the look at the top that you don't get with Ridge Rider is just incredible. So Ridge Rider shots were in for a while, but the blue ones ended up getting replaced by headshots, or I replaced them at least back in Uprising. Just because I found that when you got down to the bottom of the deck, the Ridge Rider shot wasn't actually finding good cards that often. I suppose if you pitch stacked perfectly, you could make it find good cards a little more often, but I found that just headshot was often enough. Having the base power be 2 additional was sometimes enough. Like, you could just dominate a blue headshot with a Nimblism on it or something, and that 7 dominate is just sometimes enough into like some decks that are almost fatiguing you but don't quite have the defensive power of like Oldhim. And just being as a 1/4 at blue was just quite good. Sleep Dart was another one similar to the hamstring shot where we needed yellows prior to Everfest because we didn't have good yellows. So we were playing things like Come to Fight and hamstring shots and sleep darts just because we needed additional yellows. And then with Everfest getting both Glide Path and Rain Razors, we were able to cut like the hamstring shots, and then I think later on the sleep darts ended up leaving as well, and I guess that sleep dart ended up getting replaced by the blue Bolton shots. Then That All You Got was in there for a little bit. I think it was actually in my Uprising list as well. I don't know what card I changed, but it's a good D-React. Right now, we just don't play many D-Reacts, and I think there would be an argument to keep it in. But the fact that it sometimes replaced itself, but was also just a 3-block yellow that could be played as a D-React that sometimes replaced itself, card is very, very good. In a deck that functions off of a yellow pitch. When the deck doesn't function off a yellow pitch, it's not quite as good. But when yellow is your pitch base, That All You Got is just a really, really strong card. And then the blues, it's always been some combination of arrows. We went from Ridge Rider shots, which, like I mentioned, I think headshots should have been the new blue a lot sooner. Even in that game I just played against the Azuri, like, Ridge Rider shot being headshot probably would have been better. So, like, if I could go back in time, I think I would be replacing Ridge Rider shots with headshots all the way back in 2021, because the card was printed. I didn't play it. I know some people did, and I was like, nah, I don't believe in that card. And I was wrong. But you learn. Blue Bolton shots also came in. Interesting note about the pitch base in this deck is we went from typically playing... I actually played 4 prior to Tails. Probably should have been 6. Tails, we went up to 6, which is incredibly high. And then with Uprising, when Icelander came out, we were boarding up to 9, but most matchups I was only playing 6. But we had the 9 for, like, Icelander. But now we're pretty consistently playing 9 and occasionally even going up to 11. And that's because of things like we're actually wanting to cast Deadeyes. We've got Crow's Nest triggers. We've got Melting Points. And then there's also like Rain Razor's snaps turns or even just regular snaps turns where you want to have one floating for a Codex of Frailty. So your double arrow turns, you want to have that blue. So that's why the pitch has gone all the way up to 9. And then Spire Sniping is obviously just an auto-include. While Headshot was better than Ridge Rider Shot, Spire Sniping Headshot is just not good enough compared to Spire Sniping. Spire Sniping is incredible. And that's basically the list, or the lists. Interestingly, I was looking at arrow counts, I believe. Yeah, arrow counts. I only played 26 back in Monarch. But there were so many defensive cards, and we had ops and sinks and stuff. So it wasn't wasn't the end of the world. But most of the time it's been around 30. We had 30, 27, 30, 32, 27, which now we have codex. But some of this is like sideboard slots where those get swapped. I guess the attack actions might be a better metric. 36, 41, 35, 36, 36, 34 plus codex is 37. Like, yeah, so that the attack actions stayed pretty consistent. Like I mentioned, the pitch bases. This is 26 pitch cards. Although some of that was like feign deaths that were often sided out. So that would be like 23. This would be 24. This is only 21, but I believe at this point none of our pitch cards were getting sided at any point. They were all included in every matchup. So you got away with 21. This was 20. And I believe that would be the same case on this pitch then? Or maybe I'm missing something. Because this seems low on pitch. Especially when Icelander was in this format. And then up to 24 again and 21. So it stayed around the same. Which is actually kind of funny to see, like, these ratios, obviously they've fluctuated, and I may have actually screwed up the ratios that were originally here. Like, these old lists may have had slightly different, and I might have changed some stuff to make them more in line. I don't remember exactly what was changed, but, like, the basic rough proportions have stayed about the same. I guess the biggest one that's changed is D-Reacts. We had 9 D-Reacts, 9 D-Reacts, 9 D-Reacts, 9 D-Reacts, 9 D-Reacts. Actually, some of these were 12, but we swapped around. And now it's possibly 3, occasionally 0. And then non-attacks, we're up to 33 now. In the past, it's been 21, 21, 21, 18, and 15. Back in Monarch, there was only 15 non-attacks. And we're up to 33. So that's really been the biggest change, is that all these defensive cards have just become non-attack actions. But yeah, that's all the decks. This is the kind of preamble to Azalea getting LL points, which I fully expect to happen in, what is that? The next, like, 36... No, not 36. We'll say next 48 hours. She should have LL points. I'd be very surprised if she didn't, but... But yeah. That's all I got for tonight. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Did I screw up my win rate? Not too much. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and best of luck in all your RTNs this weekend, anyone who's playing in them. I probably will not have time to run another Azalea stream before RTNs, but you never know. I'm not consistent with my streaming time, so... But yeah. Glad you enjoyed it, Remy. Alright, have a good night, guys.